we got another competition meeting this time. We've had a small number of entries, so we're going to kind of wing it as a group. But before we get into the competition, I'd like to hear from Patrick and then Gary. Patrick on what our next presentations are going to be. And
okay. So presentations that are booked, we've got Gary, Bill, and Mark giving us a presentation next month on their trip to Japan. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm still living in May. Okay. So if you're still like me living in May, it's next month. Otherwise, it is 2 weeks from tonight in June.
And we demonstrated while we were in Japan that you can get lost within 100 feet of your destination.
Well, you can tell us that story when you.
Oh, that was a teaser.
In 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. So we got that one, and then I just booked a I'll call him a semi-pro photographer with the Austin PPA, and he does, as he called it, medium volume photography. Right. So he's doing dance recitals and things of that nature. So he's going to come and tell us how he got into it and how he does what he does with that. And so he as he told me, he says, I make enough money to pay for my bad habit of photography. So as we all wish we did. So those are the two that I have right now. I do have, yes, sir. Yeah. And I have August. We need to book a space, but we are, we have the space. Okay, so we have in the August, I think it's the 12th. No, 20 something. It's the third Thursday as usual. Josh Baker is going to be giving a demonstration talk, whatever you want to call it. Bring your cameras because it's at the Round Rock Photo Studio, and it will be light painting. And if you've ever been to something that Josh puts together, light painting has got to be one of the most vigorous things that he does.
Highly energetic.
Highly energetic. I mean, the man does not sit still. You got to put your camera on he puts it on a tripod, hits the timer, and then runs around and does all the light painting. It's amazing. It's fun. So he'll be doing that in August. And I'd have to look at my calendar. I do, okay, September I'm looking. So for somebody. But so that's where we are. So we got a trip that's being discussed by 3 of our members. We've got a semi-pro coming in from PPA. It's going to talk about volume photography. And then we have Josh, our own Josh Baker, showing us how to be crazy behind or in front of the camera, actually. So that ought to be it. Great.
Okay.
Pull this one up. So hello. So photo walk wise, we had some ideas. It got really hot, and so nobody wants to be outside in this weather. But that said, we are looking at, and I meant to announce it today. I apologize I didn't get that out. I will tell you right now. 3 weeks from tonight at the Gerald Rodeo. There's a free night at the Gerald Rodeo. It's the Williamson County Sheriff's Posse Association is what they're technically called, up in Gerald. And they have a free night, and we'll meet somewhere around 6:30, and they do things at 8 o'clock. There are some events. They're the less popular events, but apparently there's no cost to get in, and we have kind of free reign. I learned about this from some friends at the Sun City Photo Club who have been going for a few years. So we will not be the only club up there. So we'll go up there and have some fun. And other than that, I don't have anything planned at this point because I don't like being outside when it's this hot. So, but I do have some ideas for some indoor stuff that we can maybe do. So stay tuned. Appreciate your patience, but put down 3 weeks from today for Thursday night at in Gerald. Okay.
Berlin, show coordinator.
So for all of you who have photos at the Pflugerville Library, Those are coming down, not this week, but next week. Expect an email from me this week saying what day, but it'll be that Friday. And we'll have to take all the pictures down. If you need help getting your pictures, get with somebody, Clay, myself, somebody who is going to be there, and we'll collect your pictures.
John, I think it's your show.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about something else that's
Okay.
real quick, if
Go
you
ahead.
don't mind. I forgot I had this. I don't know if the group knows about, there's Round Rock Arts and then the city of Round Rock. They're always putting out, we're in two or three shows right now. And they do open categories. We can go in and submit things and then they show either at Texas State University or they've got a couple locations. And then the city of Round Rock is opening this huge new art center. And it's going to be dedicated just to the arts. And they put out today, no, it was Round Rock Arts put out. I thought about the club because now they want submissions for wildlife. And I figured, there's our club right there. So you can go on Round Rock Arts and they opened up entries for wildlife and get on the thing because every 5 or 6 weeks, they have a different topic and Leslie's been in every single one of them, and she just won like a runner-up award in one of them and all. But they're fun. You get your art shown and it's just more opportunities, but especially the wildlife. Now, both Cody and I are out of town the next month. So Ed has generously said that he'd handle here, so we'll be doing everything remotely and getting it ready for Ed. But I am asking now, would people please consider judging this coming month? I'll send out an email and let me know, just send me back an email, say, yes, I'll be happy to do it. I'm gonna lean towards some new people if I can, but old people have been doing it, please come in too. But if I get a chance of 3 more experienced, newer people, I'm gonna grab them. But I definitely want some of my more seasoned judges and all that would be awesome too. So I will send out an email and thank you so much. And thank you, Lydia. It's her first time to judge. And he's there. And Shelton and Bill, you're always there, so. There you go. Yeah, you get entered in the drawing. $100,000 first prize. Oh.
And your membership,
All right,
the $24.
so here we go. Hello. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, wait.
Yes.
I'm using the wrong one.
Push the wrong button. We got put it on plus.
Ed, this isn't, I'm not getting the, oh. Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's not showing up here, so let me. Okay, here we have 4 basics this month. And this is the first one, and I missed the topic. What
Late
was,
night Philip.
pardon me?
Late night Philip.
Thank you. Twilight at the Ranch. After Hours at Andy's Custard. And City of Snow and Light. Okay. All right, our first one's Late Night Philip.
I believe I own this one. And at first glance, this is a nicely exposed image. I even like the flare and the lights illuminate. Can you hear me? I've got it right up here. Oh, that's the badge. Can you hear me now? Sorry. Like I was saying, I like the image. The building is nicely exposed. I even like the flare in the blue lights up above that illuminate the parking lot. It just makes it really clear that it's at night. The signs on the building are nice and exposed. You can see the building. But the first thing I think is, where is the activity? Where is the fill up? Where is the one person that you'd like to see a shadow, a ghosted image going into the store? Other things that can be done besides find a person to go in this image to improve the image is the right border of this image really adds nothing but black sky and parking lot. So the parking lot doesn't add much story, and the same with the foreground of the parking lot. The bottom quarter or third doesn't help with the story. And I just find myself, I've got to see that far corner of the building. It's just something missing that you'd expect to see in the frame. Go ahead, John.
Okay. Twilight at the Ranch.
You guys hear me? The first thing I thought of when I saw this image was how cozy it is. I love the warmth of the brown and the colors with the grass and the trees, and I love the sky color with it. So I thought the colors were really nicely done. I liked
your mic up.
I liked the higher shutter speed to get the starbursts. I thought that was a nice touch too. And I like the balance between the cabin and the tree. I thought they kind of balanced each other nicely diagonally across the photo with the big tree. What we talked about when we were looking at this photo was that it felt like there was an opportunity for exposure bracketing to maybe get some more details in the shadowed areas. And we were concerned that the lights around the cabin might have been just a touch too bright, so maybe possibly overexposed. So if you did like a 5-shot bracket exposure or something that might have balanced those things out. And then the other thing we talked about is that from a cropping standpoint, we thought maybe either zoom in more on the cabin or zoom out a little bit and give a little more foreground. Because it just felt, when I first pulled it up on my monitor, it felt a touch crowded, having the cabin right there in front of my face. So maybe just a little more, a little less space next time, but love the image. I thought it was wonderful.
So we'll clip that right up in there.
After Hours at Andy's Custom.
Okay, this one's mine.
But it
Uh,
still,
I like the fact that this was shot in
Yeah.
black and white. And I like how you can, when you can see distinct conversations and interactions going on between the group of people. So that was very successful. And the sharpness as well, I think was very successful. I think the image is challenged a bit by the signs and that trash bin on the left. They don't really add any value. And in fact, I kept wanting to read what's written on those signs rather than focusing on the interplay and interaction between the folks. But I think, if you were able to reposition yourself a better crop the image itself post-processing, that would have made this have a little more impact. But successfully done in terms of showing the interaction between the groups of people. You can see the women on the right facing each other, and you can see the concentration on the conversation. Same thing with the people off to the left as well. So good job there.
City of Snow and Light.
This image just speaks to me in that it's cold, it's wet, it's snowing. You just can't ignore the weather conditions in this image.
Can't get this to change so we can get to.
The shutter speed gets a good
priority.
view of the snow falling. You can really pick it out when it ends up in front of something that's dark. I wonder if a little dehaze might make it pop a little bit more, but that might pull away from the feeling of the image, the dreary cold of the image. Things that can be done to improve this image would be to remove this structure on the right-hand side. I think it's a light pole.
Is there someone you can get?
It just doesn't contribute a lot to the image. There's a trash can there on the street. That and may need to be removed independently of taking the right-hand side off of it. The upper third of the image or quarter adds very little to the story.
Have to just restart.
And the left-hand side, the building isn't quite
Here, let me
straight,
get up so you can.
so you might want to straighten that up.
All right. And our top three images, third place, Jerry Murphy, Twilight at the Ranch. Second place, Clay. After hours in many countries.
So I just want to point out something to you and ask how many of you noticed it until I pointed it out. This was taken with me sitting in the driver's seat and pointing the camera at the side view mirror. That's why they're
reversed.
reversed. They're reversed. The second thing is that there was a continuous stanchion or pole right through there.
I was wondering what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
I
stopped
was,
the face.
the face could not be duplicated by Photoshop. It did a really pretty nice, I mean, it did, all of that was done perfectly. There's a double knee right there, or double ankle, I said. But yeah, I was just, I turned this picture in and worked on it just a little bit, but I was very impressed with what Photoshop could do, just because this was a solid black background, so it had no trouble doing that. But the fact that it could do the hand and all of that, all the way down, there was a big stanchion, a cement stanchion there holding up the porch cover. So,
Photoshop will mirror image that easily, and then nobody will be distracted by the sign.
oh, I could have done it, I mirrored the sign, okay. Well, I was kind of, usually I'm doing it on Tuesday night, you know, so.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why the sign was inverted
Thank you for the.
and the face of the guy's face. What, I just decided, yeah.
And
it's
first
in-
place is Eric Reeder, City of Snow and Light. Okay.
Eric online?
And our winning images are tied for third place, bronze, Christopher Umstead. Also tied for third place, Twilight at the Ranch, Jerry Murphy. Second place, People's Choice, Clay. And People's Choice Gold goes to Eric Reeder and City of Snow and Light. And that's nice when everybody gets an award.
Just like being in kindergarten.
Yes, exactly. All right. Intermediate. We have 7 images. Flying was fun. Sailing into the night. The fourth. Orion the Hunter. Bathed in moonlight, sorry. Lighting up. And things that go bump in the night. Okay, and our first photo to critique is Flying with Fun.
So that Okay. Yes. I know, we talked about so many, I don't remember which ones are mine. All right, I'll do it. Yes, mine now. Um, I loved the idea because I used to play tennis as a kid in Connecticut in the summer, and it's just immediately brought me back to that. Kind of imagining a humid night and mosquitoes and stuff. So I love the idea of this image. I liked the yellow with the otherwise muted colors of the image. I thought it immediately drew your eye to the ball. In support of that, I think I would have put the focal point on the ball. Because it's more about a third of the way in from the right on the net. And I think I would have really worked on getting it right on that ball. Because it does draw your eyes so much because of the color. I thought the shadows were nice and crisp. We talked about maybe adding some more items to the photo to create a little bit more environment next time. Like maybe a water bottle or some paddles or something, just to give it a little bit more of the kind of the story of what's going on. But the image was very solidly executed, so liked it.
Okay. Sailing into the night.
Okay, that was me, not me taking the photo, but me reviewing it. I like this a lot. I like the fact that if you look at the forward edges of the building, the sail itself, it's not too sharp. And the slight blur gives it that element of movement for me. It feels like a sail moving. And I like the fact that it stands out against the other buildings as well. So the focus really is on that building. Other than that, I really didn't have too much other inputs. To me, it was the name aptly represents, or the tightly operated represents what I'm seeing, and it does bring me to mind of a sail.
Okay. Next is the fourth. Lydia?
I think that was mine too. I really liked this one. My favorite color is purple, so whoever picked this one, it got points for me right off the bat. I liked the softness and the crispness mixed together. Because you really kind of get the motion with the ones that are more blurred, and then the dots and the lines are super crisp. So I really liked the way that came out. The black of the background is perfect. I just got a new curved monitor and I couldn't see anything on there. So it was really nicely edited. Love the colors. And I thought for a firework, I mean, it's wonderful. Maybe an opportunity for another time would be to capture more of the foreground, just like capture what's going on around watching the fireworks, if you wanted to try something different with it. But I thought it was lovely.
Orion the Hunter.
All right. I always impressed by people who attempt to take photos of the night sky. I know it's pretty challenging, and I would say kudos to the person who did this. I like all the intermingling of colors that I could see in this. The one thing I would ask is, was there any opportunity to make some of the stars a little sharper and brighter? Good job overall.
Guest, allure, bathe, and moonlight.
This is one of those images that the blue of the ocean and the white froth, or as the waves break, just grabs your attention. The waterfall is nicely shot timing wise, so that you get the milky flow of it flowing into the ocean. The upper part of it, I like the way it just blends into the fog that's settling over the point. I would love to know where this is so I could go and shoot this, because it's just one that speaks to me. but there are several things that could be done to improve this image. The right front of it here is up against a cliff that has no detail, maybe totally blocked up, and just doesn't add to the story of this location. I'd rather replace that with a little bit more of the ocean opening up into just vast emptiness. The other thing, this is another image that asked for bracketed exposure, because all of the lights in the little community up there are blown out. I like the star shape. I like the mixed colors up there. I wouldn't touch it. Just get a little more detail into it. And the focus is on this brighter cliff and nicely done.
By the way, this is, I think, the Faroe Islands. I think.
The maker will tell us.
I thought it was Iceland.
Lighting up.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we were talking about where that photo was from.
Where in
That's
order is
Lydia's.
how I know.
Okay. So love this photo because I struggle with taking dark photos. So the fact that this one was so well done, I thought was wonderful, whoever took it. Liked that you have all the people, so it tells a great story of everybody kind of crowding around the balloon. Love the colors in the balloon. Love the fact that you were able to capture the motion of the flame. You can kind of see the curls in there, so it gives you a sense of motion in there. We did wonder if maybe shooting this vertically or cropping it differently to get a little bit more of the balloon might have told a little bit more of the story without losing too much, because there is a lot of dark space, and maybe a touch more color on the top would have added to it. I think that was our biggest thing, but the exposure looks good, and I thought it was very well done, especially for the light.
Things that go bump in the night.
Okay, things that go bump in the night. I like how sharp the eyes are. The whiskers on the cat are clearly visible. Overall, nicely done. I think we would have liked to have seen a little more of the cat coming out of the shadows. I think one challenge though is when I looked at the theme for this, it said capture the mood of nighttime, city lights, quiet streets, or late night energy, using artificial lighting, reflections, shadows to enhance the atmosphere. So, I'm assuming this cat is not walking around somewhere in a city or downtown. So I'm not sure if it quite fits into the theme, but well done. You're quite brave to be out there with a lion at night. So good job.
Third place, Verlin. Ryan Heather.
All right, this is 120 30-second exposures stacked together, an hour of integration, all piled up to dig all that out. That makes it very hard to make things sharp because you're taking 30-second exposures to begin with on a long focal length.
Right.
So, sorry, can't do that.
That's what I don't try.
But other than that, yeah, you're just one exposure after the other, then you put them all together, and then you start digging all the information out. And Steve would be better than me at telling you how you do that.
Second place goes to Roberto White, the fourth. And number one goes to Sailing into the Night, Larry.
Well, I got this the night we did the photo walk back in February and used my 85mm 1.2. And that was basically a full frame with that lens on it, when you stand on the top of the hill. So I recall it was a relatively fast shutter speed. And I think I shot this at about F4.
Beautiful.
I did do a little bit of
F
post. I tried
2.3, 3.2.
to bring up the yellows in the base of the building while maintaining the blues on the left side.
I like the
Oh, is there a problem?
Hmm?
Is there a problem?
No, we're just saying it was three
Oh, I
point
thought you
two.
had to.
Yeah.
All right, great. All right. I'm missing the silver. I have to go back and find that. Can you find the silver? Who got silver? Silver's not showing up. I don't remember who got, I'll find it. Let me start with this. It's Jim Smith, Things to Go in the Block, where it was bronze, People's Choice bronze. And People's Choice gold. Cody. That is.
Yeah, so this is in the Faroe Islands. So yeah, it's one of the more kind of famous shots. You see a lot of this one. And so we went out at night hoping it would clear. So it was horrible weather the whole time I was there. And so, but it was like, oh, maybe the weather might clear. Of course it didn't, but it was really foggy and misty, but it helped diffuse the moonlight so that it actually lit up pretty well. So I don't remember how long the exposure was, probably 15 or 20 seconds, maybe. I can't remember. I took a bunch of different ones. And then, yeah, and it's on the side of the cliff and it's super wet. And then there's these stairs that go down, but they're all broken and you can't go down any further. So this is about as far as I felt safe getting over to get around that cliff on the right. And so, yeah, so that's the shot.
See, real pro would risk it and die for the
Yeah.
maybe use the parachute or something.
That's right, maybe the pitch looks.
Stabilize or something.
And I apologize, for some reason, on the ICM, second place silver went to Roberto for the fourth. So.
So it was 3 images, not 5.
Pardon me?
It was 3 images, not 5. When you came up, it said intermediate 5 images. Yeah.
Oh, no, what happened was it showed the 3, 1, 2, and 3. For some reason, it grouped them all together on that one. So I don't know, because I looked on my phone, it was all done, done properly on there. So somewhere along the line, it dropped out. All right, in the advance. Old Austin, Living in the Shadows. The Photographers. Porto Lisbon After Dark.
Okay.
Cruising the Ginza. To Infinity and Beyond. First one up, Old Austin.
Well,
I think this is going to become a classic image of downtown Austin with the new buildings. I like the fact that we have the sale building there. We have the Google sign. It just screams New Austin. And the statue of Stevie Ray is clearly Old Austin, going back to the 80s. I like the background that's there. It would be worthwhile going back multiple times to get that kind of cloud and light in the sky. I like the way the foliage kind of surrounds the image. But once you come all the way forward to the subject, the statue, you realize there's no detail there. That's a very crisp statue, and the image is blocked up under the hat, and there's no detail in the face. So it would probably be worthwhile going back and reshooting this image, once again, as multiple exposures to be able to bring HDR into play, or to shoot with artificial light to the face of the statue and the statue. So you get a nice sharp image there.
The photographers.
I thought this was very cool. I really liked the concept here. I loved how some people are focused, some are blurry, and it kind of gives you a sense that there's movement taking place and people doing their thing. And love the colors, the balance between the orange and the blue is really nice. We were talking about where the right place to crop the image would be, especially on the right-hand side, because you got kind of a partial person over there on the right. And was there a way to either get all of that person in or maybe cut them out a little bit? But beyond that, we thought it was very well done. Love the idea.
Porto, Lisbon, after dark.
Yes, oh, I recognize it. I love the bright light of the illuminated bridge. It just leads you over to the far bank of the river. I like the monochrome nature of this. It just makes the image stand out being monochrome. And there's just enough bits of color in the reflection of the far side of the city there that says, okay, this is really color. It's not a false color. There is detail to be had over in the left-hand side on the bank. The buildings are just a little dark in the shadows and could probably be brought up a little bit to make them show up better. There is this desire to see more of the bridge, at least where the other end of the arch lands. I know this might not be possible to get that framing. The other thing that I noticed on kind of going back through it, there's a pedestrian bridge down low. And it's completely black and almost blocked up. And that's another point of interest in this image. So like a couple of others that we've looked at, this one's a candidate for bracketed exposure and HDR processing.
Cruising the Ginza.
Me? Oh. We talked about all the images, so I don't remember which ones were mine now. Loved this image. Just the crispness of it, the smoothness of the car in front, the way the light kind of shines on all the cars. Love the blur of the details further back in the image to kind of have them there, but not overpower the image. Liked the way it draws your eye down the street naturally. And I like the color choices of the tint. It's sort of more on the purple side, which I thought went really well with the red of the lights. We had talked about, was it even possible to maybe capture a little bit of motion with some of the cars moving or maybe some of the people walking, but don't know if that was possible based on the timing of the shot, if they were sitting at a red light or something or stuck in traffic. But really, really beautiful image. I'm jealous.
I think the only reason for that was the title, which said cruising. So, but other than that, fantastic.
To infinity and beyond.
I saw this, and the first thing that two things popped into my mind. One is, wow, again, kudos to people who shoot the night sky. The other one was, this reminds me of a scene from Back to the Future, when they're getting ready to go back to the future. But anyway, I love it. I love the lines in the road that lead you up to the sky. They're changing colors as they graduate from, you know, a lighter blue, darker, darker till dark. And to me, from my viewpoint, a lot of the stars are sharp and bright pinpricks, which is great. So well done, well executed.
All right. Judge's choice. Third place, Leslie Chatham, Porto Lisbon After Dark. She was not feeling well, but this was in Porto. So only thing I can say about that is she didn't want to carry a tripod, so I was carrying my tripod, and guess who used it? So. But no, I'll give it all to her.
Just a Sherpa.
We're going storm chasing, leaving Sunday for a week, and we got new lightning monitors. And she said, you know, I don't think I'm gonna take my tripod. I said. Second place, Stevens, After Hours. And winner, Mr. Gary, with Road to Ginza, Cruising to Ginza.
Yeah, this is one of the shots we got while we were walking around Tokyo, and lots going on here. What I found interesting about this was I did not recognize the car. I don't think any of us recognized the car, and they've obviously modded it. You can see the wheels have some of they got tilted wheels on the back and stuff. So it's really interesting to see. Obviously, lots of typical cars. You've got a Tesla sitting over there. There were plenty of Range Rovers and BMWs running around, and all the stuff we know from Europe, but in the US, but lots of interesting cars running back and forth. So it was a fun outing.
Nice. All right, and finally, People's Choice.
Yes, Stephen, tell us.
Did I move on? I'm sorry, to be honest with you, I didn't see it through the crowd. Come back.
Come talk about it.
I'd love to hear about it. I apologize.
All right, this was in Black Mesa, Oklahoma. If you look on a map, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's right there at the corner between Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. We were on a trip. It was me, actually Jim was there, Josh, and I forgot the other guy's name. I was waiting for my ride to come pick me up when I shot this. This was like almost a throwaway. It was like, hey, let me just shoot this while I was waiting. Jim and Josh were lost in the woods looking for their cameras. And so while I was waiting for them, and I just happened to take that. It's just one shot, I had a strobe with me, gel, and yeah, one shot.
And no traffic.
No traffic. Didn't see any traffic at all that night. I think there was one car on the main road that drove by. But most of the time the grass covers the road because there's no traffic.
Beautiful. Sorry about that. People's Choice. Ron's Cruising the Ginza, Gary. Silver, Leslie, Porto, Lisbon After Dark. See, I was saving you for the first place. That's it. Yeah.
This one actually won from the shop 2 years ago.
Nice. That was beautiful. And that's it.
What is Photoshop?
We'll talk about it in a minute.
All right. Thank you, judges, very much.
John, thank you for pulling this together.
Sure.
Ed, thank you for being sure we're on YouTube. We finished up pretty early tonight. One question I'd like to ask, because we've mentioned it several times looking at these images, would people like to have a discussion on HDR processing and processing multiple exposures?
Yeah. That'd be wonderful.
Okay. We'll see what we can do, Patrick.
I'd love any kind of like, shops like that, Photoshop chips or Lightroom 2 and,
Well,
stacking.
I've got on my Texas school t-shirt.
I see that.
I went and just totally drowned in a Photoshop class. I
Oh.
was overwhelmed.
Now you can share with the class.
There you go.
My embarrassment. Ed, let's go ahead and cut this off and we'll just turn this into a
Ju- Reminder that Flowers is next month and it's open, so get your stuff in. Gary, you seem
And-
perplexed.
on competitions, each of the competition themes have a few words of text with them, kind of to give you a motivation and concepts of what you should be looking for when you shoot that.